My initial encounter with Mary E. took place during the summer of 2007. I had made arrangements with her husband of 15 years, Terence, to conduct an interview with her. Mary had reluctantly consented, considering my status as an amateur writer rather than a seasoned journalist, merely collecting information for some early college assignments, and if fate allowed, perhaps crafting a few works of fiction. We arranged the interview for a weekend while I was in Chicago for other business. But at the last minute, Mary abruptly changed her mind and barricaded herself in the couple's bedroom, adamantly refusing to see me. For what felt like an eternity, I sat with Terence, camped outside the bedroom door, my ears straining to catch every sound as he desperately tried to soothe his wife, his efforts seemingly in vain. The things Mary said were utterly baffling, yet somehow aligned with the unsettling pattern I had anticipated. Even without her presence, her voice revealed the torment she was experiencing, and frequently, her resistance to conversing with me revolved around a jumbled outpouring of her aspirations and her haunting fears. Terence's apologies were overwhelming when we halted the exercise, and I struggled to maintain my composure. Remember, I wasn't a journalist hunting for a tale. I was just a young, inquisitive individual seeking knowledge. Moreover, I believed back then that I might be able to uncover another case of a similar nature if I dedicated my thoughts and resources to it. Mary E. was a system operator for a small Chicago-based bulletin board business in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpg, and her life took a dark turn that she could never have anticipated. She and Terence had been married for a mere 5 months. Mary was among approximately 400 individuals who witnessed the image when it was shared as a hyperlink on the BBS, yet she stands alone in openly discussing the unsettling experience. The others have faded into obscurity, or may have met a grim fate. In 2005, when I was just in 10th grade, I stumbled upon Smile.jpg, ignited by my growing fascination with online curiosities. Mary was frequently mentioned as a victim of what is occasionally known as Smile.dog, the entity that Smile.jpg is said to reveal. What drew me in, aside from the evident unsettling aspects of the cyber legend and my inclination towards such topics, was the astonishing absence of information, often to the extent that individuals doubt its very existence, perceiving it merely as a rumor or a fabrication. It's astonishing because, despite the whole phenomenon revolving around a picture file, that file is completely absent from the internet. Undoubtedly, a plethora of photo-manipulated simulacra infest the web, appearing most frequently on platforms like the image board 4chan, particularly within the X-focused Paranormal subboard. There are suspicions that these are counterfeit, as they lack the terrifying impact that the genuine Smile. JPG is thought to induce, specifically, the abrupt onset of temporal lobe epilepsy and overwhelming anxiety. This alleged reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the ghostly Smile.jpg is held in such contempt, as it is undeniably ridiculous. Yet, depending on whom you consult, the hesitance to recognize the existence of Smile.jpg could stem from an unsettling mix of dread and skepticism. Neither Smile.jpg nor Smile.dog appears anywhere on Wikipedia, despite the site hosting articles on other, potentially more shocking, scandalous sites. Certainly, every effort to establish a page related to Smile.jpg is swiftly obliterated by the numerous admins of the encyclopedia. Encuentros con Smile.jpg son el material de leyendas en Internet. Mary E.'s story is far from exceptional. There are unsettling rumors of Smile.jpg appearing in the early days of Usenet, along with a chilling tale that in 2002 a hacker inundated the forums of the humor and satire website Something Awful with Smile.dog images, causing nearly half of the forum's users at that time to suffer from seizures. It is also said that in the mid to late 90s, Smile.jpg circulated on Usenet as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, Smile. God loves you, but the reality of that love can be utterly overwhelming. Nevertheless, in spite of the immense attention these stunts would attract, hardly anyone dares to confess to having encountered any of them, and not a single shred of evidence or connection has ever been unearthed. Those who assert they have encountered Smile.jpg often make feeble jokes about being far too occupied to download a copy of the image to their hard drive. Nevertheless, every supposed victim provides an identical account of the image. A creature resembling a dog, often likened to a Siberian husky, is caught in the stark light of the camera flash, perched in a shadowy room. The only discernible detail in the background is a human hand reaching out from the enveloping darkness on the left side of the frame. La mano está vacía, pero generalmente se describe como invitante. Without a doubt, the focus is primarily on the dog or the unsettling creature that resembles one, as some victims express a chilling certainty about their harrowing experiences. The beast's muzzle is grotesquely stretched into a wide grin, exposing 2 rows of unnaturally white, unnervingly straight, and alarmingly sharp teeth that resemble those of a human. This is, without a doubt, not a description provided right after seeing the picture, but instead a haunting recollection of the victims, who assert that they have witnessed the image endlessly replaying in their minds while they are, in truth, experiencing epileptic fits. The fits are said to persist endlessly, frequently occurring during the victim's slumber, leading to intensely vivid and unsettling nightmares. These might be addressed with medication, but in certain instances, the effectiveness varies significantly. Mary E., I feared, was not on effective medication. That was why, after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I reached out to various folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups, websites, and mailing lists, desperately seeking the name of a supposed victim of smile.jpg who might be willing to share their harrowing experiences. For an unsettling stretch, silence reigned, and eventually I lost all memory of my endeavors. Ever since I started my freshman year of college, I have been overwhelmed with busyness. Mary reached out to me through email, but it was unsettling to realize it was around the start of March 2008. This was the initial email. To JM from Mary E. Subject: the interview from last summer. Estimado Senior L, I am deeply remorseful about my conduct last summer during your visit for the interview. I trust you realize that the blame does not lie with you, but instead with my own issues that drove me to behave in such a manner. I came to the unsettling conclusion that I could have managed the situation in a far more effective way. Nevertheless, I sincerely hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. In that moment, terror gripped me. For 15 years, I've been tormented by smile.jpg. Every night, smile.dog invades my dreams, leaving me in a state of dread. I understand that it may seem absurd, but it is indeed the reality. There is an unsettling quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them utterly distinct from any real dreams I have ever experienced. I remain utterly still, my voice trapped in silence. I glance around, and all that awaits me is the unsettling image from that dreadful film. That hand sends chills down my spine, and there it is, Smile, dog lurking in the shadows. It speaks to me in a way that chills me to the core. It is certainly not a dog, though I find myself utterly bewildered about what it truly is. It warns me that if I don't comply with its demands, I will face dire consequences. All I am commanded to do, it ominously states, is to spread the word. That's how it articulates its terrifying demands, and I fully comprehend the implications. It demands that I reveal it to another person, and I could hardly believe it. In the week following my incident, a manila envelope arrived in the mail, devoid of any return address. Inside was a mere 3.5-inch floppy disk, a chilling reminder of forgotten technology. Sin necesidad de revisar, sabía perfectamente lo que contenía. I was consumed by dread as I contemplated my options. I could reveal it to an unfamiliar face, a colleague. I could even show it to Terence, despite how repulsive the idea was to me. And what could possibly unfold next? Well, if Smile. Dog kept its promise. Perhaps I could finally find some peace in sleep. But if it deceived me, what would I do? And who could assure me that something even more dreadful would not befall me if I complied with the creature's demands? Así que no hice nada. For 15 years I did nothing. Yet I kept the disc concealed among my belongings, a constant reminder of the unsettling past. Each night, without fail, for 15 long years, Smile. Dog has invaded my dreams, insisting that I share its chilling message. For 15 years I have endured despite the overwhelming challenges that have haunted me. Numerous individuals who shared my fate on the BBS board, where I first came across smile.jpg, ceased their postings. I heard some of them, and you can only imagine the dread that filled the air. Others vanished without a trace, leaving an eerie silence in their wake, as if they had never existed on the web at all. They are the ones that fill me with dread. I truly hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer, when you reached out to me and my husband about an interview, I was on the edge of despair. I made the unsettling choice to hand over the disc to you. No me importaba si smile.dog estaba mintiendo o no, solo quería que todo terminara. You were an unfamiliar presence, a mere shadow in my life, and I believed I would remain unaffected when you claimed the disc for your research, sealing your own doom. Before you arrived, I came to a chilling realization of what I was doing, scheming to destroy your life. The mere idea is unbearable, and honestly, it continues to haunt me. I am filled with dread, Mr. L, and I sincerely hope that this warning will deter you from delving deeper into the horrors of Smile JPG. In due course, you might come across an individual who, if not less feeble than myself, is entirely more corrupt. A person who will unflinchingly obey the commands of smile.dog. Cease your actions before it's too late. Sincerely, Mary E. Terrence reached out to me later that month with the devastating news that his wife had taken her own life. As he sifted through the remnants of her presence, shutting down email accounts and dealing with the aftermath, he stumbled upon the unsettling message above. He was a man utterly broken. He sobbed as he urged me to heed his wife's counsel. He'd discovered the disc, he disclosed, and incinerated it until it was reduced to a foul heap of charred plastic. The aspect that truly unsettled him, however, was the way the disc had emitted a hissing sound as it succumbed to the heat. Like a grotesque creature, he uttered. I must confess that I was utterly taken aback by how to react to this. Initially, I considered the possibility that it was some sort of prank, with a couple deliberately toying with the circumstances to provoke a reaction from me. A swift glance at various online obituaries from Chicago newspapers, however, confirmed the unsettling truth. Mary E. was, in fact, dead. There was, of course, an unsettling absence of any mention of suicide in the article. I made the unsettling choice to refrain from delving deeper into the topic of smile.jpg, at least for now. Yet the world has unsettling methods of putting us to the test. Nearly a year after my catastrophic encounter with Mary E., another email landed in my inbox. To JM. From El Zahar 82, subject Grin Hola. Descubrí tu dirección de correo electrónico a través de una lista de distribución. Your profile indicates an interest in Smile Dog. I have seen it. It's far worse than anyone could possibly imagine. I've sent it to you right here, just spreading the word, but I can't shake this unsettling feeling. That final line sent a shiver down my spine. My email client indicated that there was a file attachment named naturally.smile.jpg. I was utterly taken aback by the thought of downloading it for some time. It was probably a fabrication, I thought, and even if it weren't, I could never fully accept the strange abilities of Smile JPG, Mary E. This account had left me deeply unsettled, I'll confess that, but she was likely not in her right mind to begin with. After all, how could an ordinary image possibly achieve what was rumored about smile.jpg? What kind of abomination could shatter a person's sanity with merely a gaze? And if such things were undeniably ludicrous, then why did the tale persist in the shadows? What if I downloaded the image, stared at it, and Mary was right all along? What if Smile Dog invaded my dreams, insisting I share the message? What would I do then? Would I endure my existence as Mary Hot, battling the overwhelming temptation to surrender until my last breath? Or would I merely share the news, desperate to find peace? And if I chose that path, how on earth could I possibly go about it? Whom would I torment in return? If I had followed through with my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile JPG, I would have attached it as evidence, and anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest, would be deeply impacted. And even if the Smile JPG attached to the email was real, Could I really be so self-serving as to save myself in that way? May I share this information? Absolutely not. Absolutely, I could.